Love them or hate them, the holidays are upon us, and it seems to be that no matter how much cheer this time of year might bring, it's always stressful. Coping throughout the holiday months means dealing with a few potential issues: heightened awareness of loneliness, guilt over not being with the family, stress over having to be around people who either don't know or have chosen to side with an abuser, as well as just the more general fact of having to be around people. When it comes to dealing with being alone, a little bit of validation can go a long way. I want to promise you that you don't have to have a family to go back to, and that if your family has done something to you in the past, you aren't required to forgive them solely for being blood. Try to create your own positive traditions this year. Buckle down and watch a favorite movie or try a new recipe on that day. Take some time to create reminders when you can that being alone isn't a bad thing. Cultivating a relationship with yourself rather than forcing yourself to be around people who would simply stress you out isn't a bad thing. For those of you who are trying to navigate a space with relatives who don't know, or who have chosen not to respond to the issue, I want you to know that this isn't your fault. It isn't about being believable or about how you told your history. It isn't something that's wrong with you. Families would often rather believe that a survivor is lying than believe that they didn't realize that abuse was happening all along. Create a self-soothing plan for when you're dealing with people. It can be great to have an escape route planned, whether it's a friend who will text you that there's been an emergency or that you need to step outside for a cigarette. You think you might have left the stove running, whatever it is that you need to say to put space between you and others should you need a break. Bring along reading materials or a sketchbook. Sometimes keeping busy can keep holiday anguish to a minimum. Having pre-prepared conversations can be a big lifesaver. Understand that even if these people are your family, you don't owe them big cheer or complete honesty. If you know that someone is going to ask a question that might upset you, whether it be about what happened to that ex of yours, a comment on your weight, or about your major, go ahead and script an answer ahead of time. It might help to also come up with a few conversation topics. It might help to avoid topics that could become controversial, like politics, if you're worried about conflict. Recent movies, books, or art exhibits that you've seen are all fair game. Know you have an aunt who is super into gardening? Look up a few tips so that you can ask her advice on them. The more engaged in benign conversations with easier to get along with relatives you are, the less likely you are to be cornered by someone else. Another big thing is to remember that just because someone is family doesn't mean that they have your best interest at heart or that they know what's best for you. You're allowed to counter their comments with, "That's nice, thank you for sharing, but I'd really rather not talk about that." You're not required to listen to their opinions on your life or your body. Try to keep as much of a schedule as possible. I know it's tempting to give in to the, "Well, I ate so much at dinner last night," and not eat in the morning, or to skip lunch because you know a meal is coming up. But hunger can negatively impact our mood. Take the time to at least eat a little something and try to keep sleeping schedules as solid as possible. Pay attention to your body and the way you feel. If you start to feel anxious or angry, check in with yourself. A good method for this is the HALT method. If you aren't sure why you're feeling or reacting a certain way, ask yourself if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. If the answer to any of these was yes, see what you can do about alleviating the problem. No matter whether you're spending the holidays surrounded by people or all by yourself, remember to take care of yourself today, okay?